Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another episode of SISTAS. We're on season 9. Yes, season 9. 9 seasons, episode 1, entitled No Time to Wait. And that is aptly titled considering everything that's happening this episode. But y'all know, in true me fashion, I'm going to do a quick recap of everything that happened in season 8 because sometimes I don't remember and you might not as well, so just stick with me for about 2 minutes here. Either way, at the end of last season, we found out that Hudson and Gary's ex-wife, Jasmine she did survive the fall from the parking garage way back in like season 2 or 3, and she's been on this mission to get justice against Gary and Andy. So her and Hudson have been plotting to get Gary back. Gary is responsible for unaliving Jasmine during his time when he was a high schooler, and Jasmine and Hudson were like best friends. She was the only person that was ever nice to him, blah, blah, blah. So he's been teamed up with Jasmine to take Gary off the map and to take everything from him. And so that is who stabbed him. We learned all of that at the end of season 8. We also found out that Sabrina was trying to do the in vitro and freezing the eggs and all that whatever the process, I don't think in vitro is right, freezing her eggs, and that Rich was not going to be a valuable donor because he had the sickle cell trait, and while you have the trait and you may not have sickle cell, you could pass it on to a child, so it's not the wisest thing to do. Of course, he gave her a lot of grief about that all season. They were going back and forth, and they ended up breaking up. But the same night not the same night, maybe 2 nights after they broke up, he ended up knocking boots with Penelope. What else happened last season? Tony proposed to Danny, but he also let her know like there were some repercussions from the tiff that they had with the white guy at work. There seemed to be a conflict of interest, and basically Danny was sleeping with her boss. He is her boss. There was a conflict. Both of them got punished. Danny was able to get back to work because she sued them. She sued the company. And as Tony's punishment, he's now being shipped off to Alaska for like a minimum of a year or so to appease the powers that be at that company. So that's where we ended season 8. Karen's water broke and she was with Fatima at the time. So of course we're going to be rushing her to the hospital this season. Fatima is also with child. We're going to also assume very early on in her pregnancy. There was a major showdown at the end of last season where Hudson, Gary, and Zach were fighting over a gun. Hudson had already unalived Jasmine, and that is how the season ended. So I hope that was enough of a brief synopsis of what happened at the end of season 8. So we're going to pick right up. We're going to jump right into season 9. So we pick back up at the office after the gunshots and with the police showing up, a day late and $1 short. And then, they're running up on Zach immediately because he appears to be the aggressor or whatever. And Zach is like, no, I called y'all. Like, as a matter of fact, y'all should have been here before any of this went down, but whatever. Like, just leave me alone. He called them on the way up to go help Danny, and we see that Hudson is probably maybe knocked unconscious because Zach put him in a sleeper hold. And we also find Gary. Gary is under the desk in his office, shivering me timbers. I mean, he's probably going to do the therapy session or 27 after this is over. That's how shaken up he is by the whole situation, because his life was his life probably flashed before his eyes, and so I don't know how he's going to deal with that. Is that going to make him a better person? For about 5 days, surely. All right. Fatima is trying to get Karen to the hospital, but her phone is not working. There was and traffic everywhere. It's horrible. There's been a citywide blackout, and so they got to just go through it and get through it right now. So they finally get to the hospital, and there is pure pandemonium, and there's chaos at this hospital. Everybody's injured. A lot of things happen when the lights blacked out. Like, there's a lot happening, of course. Chaos. Either way, she's at the front desk. She's telling her, like, ma'am, this her water has already broken. We need to get her settled in. We need to, get the heart monitor on for the babies. Like, we need to get some stuff going on. And the lady tells her, like, I understand the situation where, hey, there's a blackout, every bed is accounted for, all that, but the lady had no bedside manner, no customer service skills. She was like, just girl, go ahead and have a seat. I see that you're leaking out on my floor. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll get to you when we get to you. She was giving that kind of energy. And so Fatima's like, girl, my friend is having a baby. I mean, this girl's having a baby. I need you to get some angst going on. And so they have to go sit down. There's no options because the receptionist is like, okay, which bed do you want? Do you want the bed from the man who amputated his leg when the lights went out by accident? Or do you want the, I don't know, the terminally ill patient? I don't remember. She gave some very extreme examples of, you know, people that did need urgent, emergent care and why there were no beds for Karen. I mean, you don't really have a rebuttal if that appears to be true, but later on in the episode, I'm going to call bullshit and say that that wasn't necessarily true and there was a bed, but hold tight. All right, so Karen is kind of sitting there. She's writhing in pain and she's telling Fatima, like, something is not right. I don't know what it is. I feel it. It's not just regular pregnancy woes. And Fatima's like, you know, you do have a really high fever and you got the chills. So we're going to keep working through this, of course, throughout the episode. All right, so we jump back over and we see Rich. He's butt-ass naked in the street running after Sabrina. And he finally catches up with her. He's steady grabbing her arm, making her turn around so that she can't walk away. I don't like that. Keep your hands inside the ride. Don't do that. Either way, he claims that he barely put the tip in. Like, it was very cringy. It was very annoying. And he tells her, and she tells him, like, listen, we'd only be broken up for 48 hours. Like, out of all people, her? Like, are you serious? And he claims that it was just a distraction that he needed to get his mind off of Sabrina. And he's basically giving his best baby please speech, right? And then Penelope overhears him saying that she was just something to do. And so she's looking and she's taking it personal as well because what? What are you talking about? And so this is going to be developing throughout the episode. But what I will tell you by the end of the episode is that somebody needs to put pause on Penelope. All right. Tony and Danny, they're sitting there and they're kind of sorting through the details of him having to go to Alaska for a year at a minimum. I guess it's his punishment, you know, for sleeping with the his subordinate and the way he handled things, blah, 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 blah. And Danny is looking at him and she's like, okay, understand. But since we're here tonight, can we go ahead and hash this out and figure out, like, are you staying? Are you going? Are you quitting? Are you not? Because his only choices are, hey, you go to Alaska for this short amount of assumed time, or you quit and you have to find another location. That's where we're at with it. And he's like, you know, no, we could just go to Alaska and we can do this 1 year right quick and I can appease the higher ups and I can come on back and we keep our life moving. And Dan's like, whoa, Mr. Frenchman, no, we know I will be here. I will not be taking my black tail to Alaska. Not for me, not having it. So you need to figure out what you're going to do to coordinate and how often you're going to come back and visit me if that's what you would like to do. And not only that, to go ahead and settle your spirit, I don't do long distance. And so they're going to have to figure out a happy medium if there is one, unfortunately. All right. So we see Miss Rhonda. Miss Rhonda is a nurse that Fatima was able to kind of, you know, give the homegirl signal to. And she's looking at Karen. She's like, this lady's in bad shape. Like, we're going to take her back immediately. I see the conditions that she's in. Let me go get a wheelchair. I'm going to take her back to this empty room. And so the receptionist is going back and forth with Nurse Rhonda. And she's like, will you take her? And she's like, I'm taking her to room 214 or whatever the number is. This lady's in dire situations. And I'm going to go ahead and head out. Well, no, that room is empty. It's being cleaned. I was going to put someone else in that room. Mind you, she had already told Fatima earlier that, oh, there's a room coming available. And she's up next to get the room. So, girl, why are you playing these stupid games? Don't know. But Miss Rhonda's like, girl, I'm going to take Karen to the back. You hash out the rest. And so she's going off to finally get some help and, you know, to talk to somebody or to bring these babies earthside or whatever is next. All right. So we go back over and Penelope is, now she pissed. She pissed at Sabrina. She's pissed at Rich, and she's looking at Rich like, I was just something to do. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you kissed me first. And so Sabrina's looking like, tell the truth, Penelope. Like, okay, I see what's going on. And so Penelope reminds Sabrina, and on your case, Sabrina, we not friends, so I don't owe you any loyalty, for one. And for two, did you not break up with him? Oh. Well, I understand what you're saying, but girl, 48 hours, we don't know if the break was sticking or not. That could have just been a moment of saying something you didn't mean when you had an attitude. Everybody calm down. Either way, she's being Penelope, the diva, the bitch, the desperate housewife. She was giving desperate. It just really pissed me off. Anyway, she was like, as a matter of fact, how you gonna get mad at Rich when you over here sleeping with your sperm donor? Not only are you sleeping with this trollop after 48 hours, but you gonna tell her my tea? You gonna give her my business about the sperm donor? And it's a lie. I did not sleep with that man. What is you talking? All right, calm down. Okay, she did not end up sleeping with that man, but it gives like he's been, I won't say pillow talking, but he's been spreading Sabrina's tea in the presence of Penelope. I'm sure he was just telling it to, I forgot her brother's name, whatever, but spreading it to him, Mr. Councilman Hopeful, and she just happened to overhear it, but that's still aggravating. And so Sabrina's like, girl, I'm over it. Yeah, y'all figure it out. I don't really care what you're talking about. And Penelope's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, you go ahead. I can treat him much better than you. I can take care of this man. You much better than you could. Like, just really trying to get under Sabrina's skin. And you didn't really have to do that. Sabrina had already said that she was over it, but I digress. And so I guess she's turned into the villain of the show. And I try not to look at anything online until I've done my review. Hell, the show's only been on for one day. Today's Thursday. But somebody's talking about watch Penelope pop up pregnant, and I'm gonna make that prediction as well, which would be annoying, but because I would hope to be rid of Penelope, her brother, Rich, and Tony, and we just start over with some new love interests, but doesn't seem they're going anywhere. All right. So we get white male Dr. Cruz. White male is important because I feel like that's going to be a theme with the next episodes and how Karen is going to be treated. Okay. So Dr. Cruz, white Dr. Cruz, finally comes in to see Karen, and she is writhing in pain. He's like, where you at on a 1 to 10? She's like 100. I'm 120, my boy. Like, I need to be seen. I'm hurting. And he looks under there, does like he barely touched her. White Dr. Cruz, because they do that. They barely touch you and they make an assessment. Irritates me every time I go. Either way, it ain't about me. She's bleeding. And he's like, yeah, I do see a little bit of blood. And I see that, and Fatima's like, yeah, she also has a fever and she has the chills and her symptoms seem to be escalating. Like, giving him the rundown of everything that happened while we're sitting in the waiting room so you can make a fair assessment. And she's like, I think an ultrasound is necessary. She feels like something's wrong with the babies. And he's just looking at her like, and okay. And he's basically writing off everything, just like the receptionist, right? And he's writing everything off as a part of pregnancy. All of those are pregnancy, side effects or symptoms of pregnancy. Which maybe someone does get an elevated temperature because you are with child, your body's going through a lot. Maybe someone has a little bit of spotting going on because you're with child. But the amount of blood that we see at the end seems to be increasing, seems to be getting much more. Even if these are standard. What's the harm in running the extra test? It's an ultrasound. She's here because she's actively having a baby. Her water has already burst. Like, it's time to get moving. Ultrasound would be standard practice, in my opinion, but I don't got anybody's churn. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Either way, it was giving horrible bedside manner, not believing your patient, white doctor, black patient. All those things are what's happening here. Either way, he's like, oh, I see you're pregnant with twins. Ooh, 2 different dads? Wow, where they at? And Fatima's like, I don't know why that's important, but one is on the way and one has been contacted. So, yeah. And he's like, oh, is the other one really coming? And she's like, what are you trying to say? Like, it don't matter. I'm just trying to make sure they're going to be present in case I need to speak to my next of kin. And her mom was like, I'm her next of kin. Talk to me. And so he, again, that's that horrible bedside manner coming into place, and he tells Karen and everybody present, basically y'all hang tight. I'll be back when I get back. And so she's left there to writhe in pain. No attempts at easing her pain, making this a non-traumatic experience. Nothing to that effect. All right, everybody has finally heard the voicemails from Fatima, you know, the blackout has something that's happening. They're not now able to, they're listening to the voicemails because they can't get the calls through because of the blackout. So everybody's headed towards the hospital. She left voicemails. Everybody's going that way. In the meantime, Fatima and Karen's mom are kind of off to the side talking, saying like, listen, her symptoms don't seem standard practice. They don't seem like standard operating procedure. I think we need, you know, they're more serious than the doctor's letting on, and they're concerned. So I'm sure that'll definitely come back up. Either way, we see Aaron. He's the first person to arrive, and he has about 50 pink balloons, and he's excited and he's ready. I don't know who called Aaron. Let's just say Karen's mom called Aaron and said, hey, meet me at the hospital. I'm sure she expressed the, hey, meet me at the hospital, something's happening. I don't think she gave, oh, the babies are here. So Aaron, not paying attention. He is in a celebratory mood. And sir, that is not why we're here. Very premature, and you didn't read the room at all. Either way, he's there, and Fatima or somebody is like, yeah, I think that's a little bit premature. We're not there yet. And he's like, you know, what's happening? I'm confused. And so he's peering through the window, and we see like the nurses in them are kind of stripping her bedding because there's blood all over it. There's like I said, a considerable amount of blood happening, which means things are moving, and I'm assuming not in a safe direction. And that is how the episode ends. Now, what I will say is it appears to be pretty short to be a season 1. Season 1 normally has a lot more meat, you know, ties up some things from season 8 and introduces some new things, but whatever. Just something I noticed. Yeah, so that is season 9, episode 1. And we got a lot of stuff that we are going to have to navigate through in this episode, in the season. It seems, you know, the seasons always start strong and then they just drag out longer and longer and longer by the end. So hopefully this one keeps the interest going and all that good stuff. All right, predictions for the season. We got Gary. I think Gary is traumatized by almost losing his life. He might. It's a big might. He might be a little bit better of a person. Is it gonna last for the full season? Absolutely not. Karen, I was just scrolling on the internet trying to mind my business. They say something about her losing one of the babies, so I'm sure we're going to have to figure out which one she lost, and we're going to have to navigate a lot of this medical neglect that was happening. Yes, it was a blackout, but there's still some bedside manner that had absolutely nothing to do with the blackout that would warrant a lawsuit for me. Sabrina is probably going to have to navigate being 100% done with Rich. That's what I really want. Because when they were outside talking, she was giving a little bit too much time for him to explain himself. We're moving. We don't have a whole lot of time to be going back and forth. So she's going to have to navigate moving on. So I don't know if that's going to run her back into the arms of Damani, the coworker, or she's just going to be out here young, wild, and free. But let's just predict she's over Rich. Who we got? Andy. Andy's going to be reeling in like the post-traumatic stress of almost losing her life. Hopefully that's going to keep her single, because y'all tell me in the comments, it was almost, okay, 2 theories. I don't know if she was giving Zach like almost kind of sort of wanted to give him googly eyes because she feels so appreciative for him saving her life. Okay? Or is she just pulling herself up together, acting like she's back to happy, jovial Andy because she didn't want him to worry about her in the instance where they were about to go separate ways? I don't know, but she was when he walked into her naked by accident, she came out the room very pulled up and very, you know, very, very much, let's just not act like he saw anything. I don't know, girl, I don't know. Don't sleep with the man just because he saved your life. That's all I'm here to say. But I'm sure she's going to be reeling in the post-traumatic stress of it all. Fatima, she's probably just going to be there. She's going to be a B-type character. This is my guesses now. B-type character in support of all the other players, especially Karen, because she's probably going to be a first-hand account that everything that happened in this hospital and navigating all of that stuff that has happened. I think that's it. I don't think we don't need Hayden and Jasmine this season at all. We might need Miss Marie to work with Karen's business partner in Karen's absence. That could happen. I don't think we need a whole lot of other people though. I think we're good. Either way, oh yeah, I think dude's gonna go to Alaska and it's just not gonna work out. I don't know. It's my guess. Either way, that has been season 9, episode 1. Let's talk about it in the comments. What are your predictions? What do you think's gonna happen? Anything that you want to talk about. Either way, like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.